What it do, y'all? It's your girl Makeup and Travel, and for today's video your girl is here to finally bring you my brush washing routine. I tend to wash my brushes in a very different way than other people, regardless of if it's a natural hair, synthetic hair, cost $100, $20, they all kind of go through the same routine. It just honestly, for me, it depends on if it's powder on the brush or if it's liquid on the brush. That's the big determinant. Other than that, I treat all my brushes the same, which is good and bad depending on who you talk to. This is me. I like to get things done in a timely manner. I don't have time to sit and wait and do this, and that's not my personality. I'm not about it. So if you would like to see my brush washing routine, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, so like I said in the intro, today is going to be all about how I clean my brushes. Typically what I do is I wait till I have a whole lot of brushes. You will see I have quite a bit that I need to clean, and this is all within a couple of months of use. I have enough brushes that I can just switch out the brush that I'm using at the time and go about my business. A majority of the time why I actually need to clean my brushes is because of the cream products that I use. So like my foundation brushes are really the brushes that really get mucked up quicker than like my powder brushes. I can tend to like get a lot more use out of my powder brushes than my normal just foundation brushes. Between those and then of course all of my eyeshadow brushes, I do a lot of eyeshadow looks, and a lot of them I tend to use quite a few brushes at the same time. So those are the two reasons why I have a lot of cleaning I have to do right now, and I'm actually going to change my layout just a little bit so you guys can see all of the brushes theoretically on this side. Okay, so now you guys can see all of the brushes that I actually need to clean right now. Quite a few face brushes, but majority of that like back corner back there is all eyeshadow brushes. For me, I have quite a range price-wise when it comes to my brushes. I have high-end, luxury, and I have drugstore. I still will be coming back to you guys with a drugstore brush kind of video so you guys can see all of my drugstore brushes. I already did my high-end, and I believe in that high-end video I also talked about my like mid-range as well. That being said, I do not treat my brushes differently regardless of how much I paid for them. I am that type of person. I hate cleaning my brushes. Like, it is a bane of my existence. So I don't want to take a whole year because this brush is made from goat hair and this brush is made from synthetic. They all are treated the same way. I truly personally don't care if it takes away the longevity of the brush, because at that point I will just pay for another brush. That's my personality. Take it as you will. But that being said, all of my brushes pretty much go through the same regimen. The only difference is if one brush has cream products on it or if the brush has powder products on it. Those are the only differences. What I do is I prep my cream brushes and they sit for a little while to kind of get some of the product to get out of the actual bristles while I go through and clean the powder brushes. So the way I have you guys are square on my sink, and I can't get to it, so I'm gonna scoot you guys over to the side so that I can have full access to my sink, and I will take you through the steps of literally how I clean my brushes step by step. Okay, so hopefully it's not too bad of a viewpoint for you guys. It looks like you're still pretty much seeing the same thing, and I get a lot better access to my sink. So first step is I have this concoction of stuff always set under my sink, and that's just kind of where I hide it. It has a brush cleansing gel. It's a cup that I like to use to clean my brushes. I have like I think this is supposed to be for my face, but I didn't know, so I actually use it for my brushes. But it's nice and soft, and it also helps me to get the product into the bristle and clean the bristle a lot well, so I really like that. And then I have some like packets of the Sigma brush cleaner that I've never used because I already had a brush cleaner. So what I like to use is get my water lukewarm. I don't want it to be hot or cold. I like lukewarm water. I don't fill the water up all the way because if you get the water really into the bristle, oh, I'm sorry, if you get the water into this part of the brush, then it will start to break the follicles of the hair out. And so I try not to put too much water in there, but I want enough that at least a majority of the follicles on the hair of the brush are submerged in water. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really quickly. Okay, so I like to put the water in. Then what I do is I just squeeze out a good amount of the brush cleanser. I don't care if I use way too much. I rather use way too much than way too little. Then what I do is, like I said, I take one of my cream brushes and I just swirl it in there. All of these brushes, in my opinion, need to sit because of the length of time that I let the foundation really cake in there, or the cream bronzer, or whatever have you. I just prefer to really just let them sit. Now, yes, the water after a while does get up high enough that it is going to affect the point that I was showing you, but overall this is a pretty good system and I like to use it. So those are all the brushes that I can squeeze into this small cup right now. I do have a few other cream brushes that need to get cleaned. Well, actually just one, so you can just stick at the top and we'll do it with you later. So everything else, I'm gonna move this from your viewpoint. Everything else is powder, so there's no other cream product brush that I should be dealing with. Maybe one or two of the eyeshadow brushes, but I will deal with that when I get to that. So for these brushes, I do a lot easier of a routine. My water is going to be continuously on, and I just take my bar soap that I use just for normal day use, and I just swish the brush through the soap, and then I put it through my hand, or I swish it on my hand. And if I can get all the product out just swishing on my hand, then I'm done and it goes to dry out. If I cannot do that, then that's when I take my really soft little scrubby and then I clean it out like that. So I won't be able to talk through it because it's a little noisy because of the water, but hopefully I kind of gave you a good step-by-step so that you guys can understand what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Okay, and just to stop for that first one, that's how my brush ends up looking pretty much. For me, I like to squish them together. That's just a personal preference. I have no idea why I do that, but that's how I do my brushes. Now, they actually don't dry here on my sink. I actually have them dry on the entrance of my shower, and I put enough towels and I arrange the towels correctly so that the brush is facing down so that the water does not stay up in this handle, but it drips off of the brush hairs. What I'm going to do is just go ahead and do my normal routine, which is to get through all of the big brushes because I like those to be as far on the angle as they possibly can, because these are the ones I feel that hold the most amount of water. And then I'll go through my eye brushes and those will be in the middle. And what I'll do is I'll cut at the very end of cleaning all my brushes to the end so that you guys can see what my layout actually is. So you can see how I actually have them angled so that, you know, the water is dripping away from the brush and not going into the ferrule. So yeah. once again, that's what it looks like. I am not that person that needs perfection when it comes to my brushes looking perfectly brand new. I just want a majority of the product out so that I can use either the same product or a different product and not feel bothered. So yeah, I think that's it. I'll stop talking now. Commentary. For the brushes that have darker bristles and you can't really see the product that's actually on the brush, what I tend to do is I keep cleaning until the water that is going through the brush that I'm like, when I'm massaging the brush, I keep cleaning until that water is crystal clear. That's when I decide, okay, it's time for me to move on. So yeah, I only have 2 more brushes that are big that I want to consist in this group, and then I will work on my cream products because they've been sitting for a little while now. All right, now with these cream brushes, I find that these I have to go through and clean multiple times just because it's going to be harder to get the product out. So just watch and learn, I guess. Okay, so be happy you guys cannot see the inside of my sink because it looks atrocious right now after I got through doing with some of these foundation brushes. I was only able to get 4 clean in just that one rotation. 4 others really need to sit and soak a little bit more. I think I'm going to put some new water. That's what I typically do. Actually, let me go ahead and do that. And now I'm going to let these cream brushes soak to the very end, and those will be the end of my brush washing night. Now for my eyeshadow brushes, I'm not very particular. What I do is I just grab a couple that have similar heads. So if they're all like blending brushes, I will grab a bunch of blending brushes like I have here. They all have very different variety, very different price range, all of that jazz. And I take my water, I put some water on them, I swish them around a little bit, I put them in the soap, swish them around again, and pretty much after a couple of swishes, you will see that a majority of the product that was on there is off. There's only about, so this black brush is good. These brushes, I just need a little bit of extra attention to each, just in the particular area where the eyeshadow is sticking. And even then for me, like I said, because I use brushes so often and a lot of my colors are so bright, my brushes just get dyed accidentally. I don't really care. Like I said, I just want a majority of the product off the brush so that when I go to use it next time, I'm not getting contact color. But yeah, that's it. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll through this part really quickly because this is the easiest part of my day. Alrighty guys, so those last 4 brushes that were being a little bit of a pain, they came out pretty much perfect for me, with after just a little bit more soaking and just a little round of arm muscle and soap and water. So now all of my brushes are clean. I will just scoot over so you guys can see how I arrange my brushes. They're not the best right now. I don't know, maybe it's because I haven't done this in a couple of months that the feng shui just ain't working, but the general idea and the gist of it is good enough for the length of time that I have my brushes sitting over here. Alrighty guys, so like I said, at the very entrance of my shower, I always put my brushes. I have my big brushes on the outside, as you can see, and also I try and make sure that all of my more expensive brushes are in the middle or on the outside where it's more angled. In this little corner that's subdued in the downward area or slope, those are my more cheaper brushes. So if I have to buy those sooner than I was hoping or expecting, I don't really care. But that's pretty much my process. This is pretty much it. The only thing that I haven't done that I typically do is I put on my bathroom heater for just a couple of minutes just to kind of speed up the drying process. I don't like for my brushes to be sitting down here for very long at all. Generally after the first day, they're dry enough that I can move them to my area where I put my makeup on, and they can sit over there until they're fully dry, and then I'll put them standing up in my organizers. So this is pretty much the way that I clean my brushes. I would love to hear the way that you guys clean them. If you guys have like the little like stands and stuff, I'm too cheap to buy them, so I just do this. But I would love to hear how you guys clean your brushes, and if you have any critiques for me, please be nice. I know I am very like no mess, no fuss, but if you have something that would actually benefit me that would not extend the time that I use to clean my brushes, then I'm all fair game for it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always y'all, it has been real.